All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is October 10th. Happy Tuesday to everyone out there. We got two MLB playoff games to jump into in today's video. We're going to break down each game. I'm going to give you my lean or leans on the games, but all of my final plays. So what I'm actually going to be rolling with myself, like I tell you guys in every single video, those will be in the pinned comment if you do want to fade me. And I've been fairly fadeable lately. Last night we go 1 and 2. Bobby Miller was only a half unit loss there, but still nonetheless a red day there. The Phils and Braves, they hit their over late in the game. They hit it, and I was like, all right, we're onto something. We're onto something. And then this Dodgers team, man, I do not know what is up with them. The Dodgers don't cover. Obviously, they get cranked, so Bobby Miller only pitches like 5 outs. We had him over 15.5 outs. Bad call there. Bad call there, like a sheep. Bad. All right, guys, and also another one that does not come through for us here is our ride of the day. We won't womp womp because we just dropped the womp womp, so Taylor is lucky here. But we had Will Smith here, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. 4 at-bats, 1 strikeout, no hits, no runs, no RBIs for Will Smith, so it was a tough one. The Dodgers not playing well. No one on the team seems like they're playing all that well. I mean, a few guys, right? But team baseball, not there. So, guys, this was the loss of a ride of the day. But shout out to Taylor for sending this one in. If you guys do want to be the ride of the day, all you got to use is hashtag ride of the day in the comments, just like Taylor did. I'll be jumping on board with one person's pick and giving you guys a shout out in the next video, win or loss. So make sure to go ahead and do that. And before we do jump into the video, guys, I do want to shout out Prize Picks. If you're not on Prize Picks, make sure to check it out. I have a link in the pinned comment that'll get 100% of your first deposit matched, and it is Tuesday, so they'll probably be dropping some Taco Tuesday discount squares. Again, if you haven't checked it out, make sure to go do so. 100% of your first deposit match, guys, or you can just use the code GUYBOSTON. Go check out Prize Picks. Now let's jump into game number 1 here. Minnesota taking on Houston. Game number 3 in this one. Houston takes game number 1. Minnesota takes game number 2, which is a rare win for us in the playoffs so far this year. But right now, Minnesota favored at home, -130 on the money line. Houston over on FanDuel, +118 on the money line. Total sitting at 8. Right off the bat, my first lean in this game would be under 8. I'm having trouble finding exactly which side I like in this game, but I do like the under 8 here. You have Sonny Gray on the mound for Minnesota, who over his last 5 games here has a .6 ERA. And even looking at it from a last 3 perspective, so even more recent, right? He's got a .12 ERA, really good with a 1 flat whip. Going up against Christian Javier today. Christian Javier not pitching all that poorly, but a little inconsistent in his last 5. 2.2 ERA in his last 5 years, averaging 6.5 strikeouts per outing. He has not faced Minnesota yet. Gray did face Minnesota twice this season. 1 game back in early April, so earlier in the year. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run with 13 strikeouts. He faced them later, a couple months later. 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, let up 5 hits. So not all that terrible, but did kind of decline there in terms of his first outing against them and their next. This is a tough one because I do think Minnesota's a better team at home. I think they have the better pitcher today ever so slightly, but I like Houston's offense in a bounce back spot here. In their last 5 going up against righties, they're slightly better than Minnesota here. 232 average, that's not that great, but Minnesota's struggling here at 216 in their last 5 against righties. Their on-base percentage is at 340, so I think I'm going to give a slight lean to Houston in this one, and it's ever so slight. I like the under in this game a lot more than I do anything, but I lean towards Houston. If you can get them +1.5 for decent odds, I don't mind the safety net of the run line either. These playoffs have been a little wonky, guys. It's not a bad thing to get the safety net of the run line. I know we see that plus money and we're like, oh, let's jump to that. But just like the Phillies last night, I told you guys run line and the over in that game, both those hit, at least where our leans came out. We only had the over as a final play, but it's not always a bad thing to get that safety net as the underdog run line, especially in the playoffs. So I'm going to look at the Houston run line side of things, but this is not meant to talk anyone off of the Minnesota there. I already said, better at home than they are away. They're at home today, coming off the momentum of last win, and they have what I believe is the better pitcher on the mound today. It makes sense why some people, a decent amount of people, would be on Minnesota. I just think for the talent you have on Houston's side of things, I do think that they knot this one up. So give me Houston. Don't love that. I like it. I lean it right now. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if we pull the trigger there. Strong chance of being a final play, though, is going to be the under in this game. Let's move on. before we do that, I do want to shout out one more thing before we get to game number 2 on this slate, and it is the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, guys. I just talked about Prize Picks. A tool that you can pair directly with this and start cashing today is the Daily Grind Optimizer. What they do is they go through everything that's available on Prize Picks, and they compare the lines and odds to all sportsbooks, so you know the value you have going into an app like Prize Picks that does not take into account any odds, right? The more juiced you pick, more juiced plays that you pick and throw into your Prize Pick slip, the more likely it is to hit. Like this Glory, this League of Legends esports play, right? Minus 191 is what the DGF optimizer is saying the odds are here, because over on Hot Streak it's minus 155 at 4.5. Prize Pick is giving it to you at 4 in terms of a line. It's a really, really cool tool, guys. You can obviously filter it by sport and everything like that. They have underdog, parlay play, boom, fliff, Hot Streak, Jock Market, Sleeper, Thrive, and Vivid picks on there as well. Make Prize Picks simple, guys, or any of these other apps, and check out the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. You get 7 days free if you use the link in the pinned comment, guys. I use this thing every single day. I've talked about it for over a year now. Really, really, really cool tool. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the second game here. We have Texas taking on Baltimore. Now, I wanted to go Baltimore, but I don't think I can get myself there. I really can't. The way that Texas has played, they've looked a lot better, and I'm trusting Evaldi on the mound today, even though he didn't close out the year all that great. Now, he pitched a week ago against Tampa Bay, 6 2/3 with 1 earned run allowed, 8 strikeouts. So he kind of got into that playoff mode, not up or shut up type of game mode, and took down Tampa Bay. So that is a good sign. He's going up against Dean Kramer, who's been pretty, hit or miss, but when he hits, he's been hitting. His last start was against the Red Sox, 5 1/3 with 0 earned run. He's got a 1.8 ERA over his last 5. I do like where the offenses, differ though in terms of this pick. In their last 5 games against righties here, Baltimore batting an abysmal. It seems like they've started to plateau at the wrong time. An abysmal 154 for average here, 207 on base percentage, and 2.4 runs per 9 against righties. Again, in their last 5 games. Texas kind of just floating middle of the road. They're above average on base percentage at 343, 253 average, and a 5.4 runs per 9 right there. I just can't get out of my head how dominant this Texas team has been now, given the fact that I'm jumping on board now. I mean, we leaned Baltimore and made final play Baltimore at one point last game too, right? Now that we're going and flipping over to the Texas side of things, Baltimore's probably going to win, because that's just how the playoffs have been going for your boy here. But I do think that this is a good spot for Texas, no matter how you really look at it. Even if you whittle it down to the bullpen here, both these bullpens slightly have been struggling, but Texas is looking fine. That was kind of an issue of theirs earlier in the year, right? They've been fine now. Do they need to kind of keep it together? Yes, Baltimore does have a better bullpen, but Texas has been playing fine, and the way that their offense has been and their starters has been, they kind of only need fine as of late, I guess. They're not even wasting arms against these Orioles, because these Orioles just have not really stepped it up. They did score 8 runs last game, but 8 runs doesn't matter if the other team scores 11. You know what I mean? So is tough to see. In terms of the total, 9 runs, it does seem particularly high here. We haven't seen anything that would indicate an under, based on last game, right? But the first game, I guess you could say, indicated an under. That was a 3-2 game. I think 9 just too high for a playoff game, so I like the under in this spot as well. I like unders in both spots today. Overs have been hard to come by for the most part in the playoffs so far, so unders seem like it could be a good spot there. I do think a public's going to be all over that, because it is the first total in the 9s that we've seen in the playoffs so far, but nonetheless, I think it's a good under pick for many reasons there. So yeah, guys, to recap, we like Houston here ever so slightly, but I do like the under in that game. And then in this spot, I like Texas with Evaldi on the mound. If it was any of their other pitchers, and I honestly mean probably any of their other pitchers, I would look at Baltimore and say, okay, bounce back spot. But Evaldi is just such a gamer, man. He is so good. He cares so much about the game. I expect him to be able to pitch well. With the Red Sox, he had good success against Baltimore as well. His last 3 starts against them all came last year. Averaged over 6 innings pitched with a 1.0 ERA against the Baltimore Orioles. So obviously, they have a lot of changes, but he's had good success against that the guys in those that uniform in the past as well. So I like the under in the spot and Texas. And that is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you guys did make it this far into the video, go ahead and comment 9.5 because you are 9.5 minutes through. I don't think we've ever done a 0.5 before, so it'll be unique to see who's still watching at this time. Comment 9.5 if you made it this far, and if you're not subscribed and made it this far, you're crazy. You're crazy. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well. We got to get the wheels turning in MLB baseball. We're just kind of treading water right now. I'm trying to forget about that NFL week. If you guys know, you know. Probably the worst NFL week we've ever had, but this is a baseball video. Let's get back to winning some money here in the MLB playoffs. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.